just unmuted. Yeah, there you go. Hi, how you doing?
Hey, good. How are you doing?
Good, good. Thanks for doing this.
No, I really appreciate your help.
No problem.
So like I said, I just have to do an interview to insert it in part of my paper for this multicultural counseling class.
Okay.
Um, so I just have some questions and I'll just take some notes. I see that you were recording.
Yeah, I'm recording, so I can see you.
Okay. All right. Is it okay if I go back and check it for notes and stuff if I miss anything?
Absolutely. I'll send a copy of it to you.
All right. So the first question is, what is the purpose and mission statement of your organization?
Our organization, well, let me get you the logistic writing of it. I'm going to go ahead and get that real quick for you. But purpose of it was when I first found it, because it's all part of the Chattahoochee Valley Better Way Foundation, which became the Deborah Smith Wellness Center, which fought and combated HIV and AIDS in the Valley. One of the biggest deficiencies we saw was gay men's population and transgender population. Being in the South, the stigma and everything that they face made too many impossible barriers for them to get the linkage to care that they needed and so forth. So we created Colgay Pride to embolden, to give them back that confidence that they need, to fight stigma and bring them out of their shells, because, there's no shame about living with HIV. It's just a common thing today. But
Yeah.
so we created this facet, and which has grown to what it is today, which is amazing. I'm excited about what all we've done so far, but I'm getting it for you. Let's see. But I do enjoy the work with HIV, but with more so nowadays, it's more about the LGBT advocacy, because as you can see, look at what they're trying to do everywhere. I mean, the new laws they're trying to pass, like the one in Tennessee they just tried to pass, or they did pass, making it illegal to do drag out in public.
Mm.
You do it in front of any child under 18, and you get a felony charge. Uh,
Wow.
it's I can't even grasp what it's like. I mean, it's hate, and I think I know why they want to do it, because they think if they see it, they're going to become it, and they have not yet grasped that we are who we are. No show, no song, no drag queen, none of that's going to make us gay. We are.
Hmm.
Here it is. The mission statement is part of the 501c3 nonprofit organization of Deborah Smith Wellness Center, Inc. is working to eliminate any form of discrimination, promoting equality for all, ending the HIV epidemic within the LGBTQ community, and promoting diversity while uniting our community in solidarity. Big.
All right. And what services are offered to the community from your organization?
Uh, we do um, we do a lot of the advocacy part. We do help out with schools. We've been trying to implement safe sex education in schools, which is very difficult to do, especially here in Muskogee County. Um, but we've created the We Serve All Establishment USA program. That's oh, I get you. That's a sticker that you'll find on some doors here in Columbus, Georgia. Actually, a good bit with now, but we first started out with a rainbow sticker, but now it's. Can you see it?
Yeah.
It's y'all means all. We serve all establishment. It lets people know when they come into that restaurant or that business that it's a safe space, that they won't be harassed or looked over or what have you based upon their sexual orientation or gender identity or any other factor. We started that actually when the Arizona tried to make it legal to turn people away because they were gay. That was many years ago. But it's like I said, we've been doing this. This is our 10th year, and
Okay.
we work to stop legislative bills, like we help stop RFRA, Senate Bill 129 and House Bill 357. Those were big ones. That's the one Nathan Deal actually vetoed. Um, we provide weekly support groups. We've been doing that for the past 9 years. We used to do it in person, but now we do it on Zoom. But we're starting back in person. We already have this Thursday, every other Thursday now, with our partnership with the Columbus Family Center. We started the first LGBT Broadway Pride event. They didn't have nothing like that here. I mean, there's another agency that did something. They called it Pride, but at the best, now I'm not knocking them in any way, bless, people are only comfortable with doing what they can, you know what I'm saying, or what they feel comfortable about. I had to push them to get down out of the park because they were back there in Flat Rock, deep down in there. I said, this really, I mean, it's drag fest at best because we're not talking about advocacy. We're not talking about things that are prying. We're not getting a proclamation, naming it LGBT Pride Month. All those things we've done. We got the first citywide proclamation for LGBT Pride. I became the first ever liaison to the mayor's office, LGBT liaison to the mayor's office under Teresa Tomlinson's leadership. And I stayed for about 8 months under Skip's until he found a new one. I told him when he was running that I wanted him to find somebody else because I believe you got to keep it fresh always. We rally, we make calls, we protest for we did all that for marriage equality. And we also provide free weddings for anybody. I'm a justice of the or I'm a reverend according to the thing I've done. We do free marriage ceremonies, and there's a lot of people still have problems finding people to marry them. Just tell them to call me; we'll take care of it. We started the Equality for All town hall meetings. That's the first public forums that we actually brought everybody together to talk about the issues that we were dealing with, like discrimination, marriage equality, and all those things. And then we also still do every 2 years, we do a candidate forum too for all the local candidates that are running. They'll come on and they'll like this last year, they're still on our feed if you go to our videos. And you'll see all the people that ran for mayor, the people run for city council, people run for school board. We give them questions and stuff like that, and they all answer them. And the first time we did it, I was shocked that people came out to it. That let me know that we're finally making some ground here. Because back then they just ignore stuff like that, about 15 years ago. We worked to end HIV infections, like I said, and provide support for those affected and infected. The main thing, the barrier to care, is retention and linkage to care. A lot of people just don't, know where to go, or they don't have transportation. Whatever the barriers are, we try to help them figure that out. We implemented drag queen story time, which is very highly it's a toxic subject for a lot of people. The Proud Boys actually came down here last year and tried to start stuff with us. However, our police force had already heard the chatter, and Homeland Security cued them in, and they were waiting for them when they got here.
Wow.
So that October, that 3rd, I think it was, we had almost every police officer downtown. we had the SWAT tank, we had the ATVs, everything out there, and they hauled off. They didn't let them get nowhere near us, which I was very proud to be a Columbus citizen that day, because I mean it showed that they do care. They're not going to let things like that happen to the LGBTQ community. Like I have seen it happen elsewhere. Whenever they show up, they just don't. Some sheriffs or whatever don't do nothing about it. They just let them keep yelling at them. We've maintained Diversity Saturdays. That's something that's going on our 5th year. That's a program we put together out there at on Broadway, because Richard Bishop, who used to be the director of Uptown Columbus, he liked what we were doing out there for Pride. He asked, "Can you do something like this every month?" And I said, "Sure, I think we can." And with sponsorships from our partners like Can Community Health and other people out there, we're able to do one 6 months out of the year, first Saturday. What it does is the day portion of it is for advocacy, education, speakers, talk about the issues that are at hand. And we used to have a more public forum because we used to be able to do it during market days. Well, that was from 9 a.m. But the new leadership of Uptown didn't care for us being out there during market days. I kind of felt like they were trying to hamper our voice a little bit, and so does many other people. They said it's just too much. I mean, we're not doing the drag shows and all that during the daytime. It's just talking, advocacy. We play music, try to blend it in with everybody, make an enjoyable atmosphere. And most people have always enjoyed what we do. They'll come up and thank us. But different people, whenever they take over something, you got different personalities you have to deal with and adjust. Let's see. But at nighttime, we do a free LGBTQ block party. We have dancing, we have music, we have giveaways, we have dance contests, and then we also have a drag show, all right in the middle of Broadway on 1100 block on that concrete stage. And then, of course, our Pride ceremony. And we created 2 pageants, the Mr. and Miss Mix and Plus. That's what it's grown to be. Columbus, Georgia Pride, and the same with Muskogee County Pride we do in December, along with our World AIDS Day celebration. Let's see what else.
That's a lot.
It is. I mean, we do. Oh yeah. Yeah. We work with Giovanni's Pizzeria. You know, that's a location over in Phoenix City, Alabama. She's the only person that's said, "Hey, I will give y'all a place to go," because we have no gay bar here. We have no place that we can call our own. You know what I mean? The fact is, now I will put a little bit of the blame upon ourselves. I mean, me and LaTweet Weldon, she's a legend here, a very popular entertainer. We opened up the Velvet Room bar. I was over there right behind the old Kmart Roses, whatever it is now, and it used to be on Memory Lane. And well, the guy that owned it before that still owned it, but he couldn't run the license no more because it got shot up like 8 months before. It destroyed the business in that sector. And the lady that was on the far end that had been there for almost 10 years, her business just went out, you know, because of violence and gun violence. But we just couldn't pick it back up. Nobody wanted to come to that section. And also, that's another thing too. People have had to be able to support things to keep them here. They always will ask, "Why don't we have this? Why don't we have that?" I tell them every time, because you got to support it, man. You can't just come in with your phones, talk to people on Grindr that are 3 feet from you and not buy anything. That doesn't keep a business open. I said, you know, if you want these things, you have to support them. And trying to get that in their heads is difficult because, you know, we're dealing with a whole new wave of thought process and social media and everything else that they got going on. It's changed so much since the dynamic from when I grew up. I'm 48 now. And I mean, it's night and day. I mean, even though Atlanta's so much better, but, you know, at the same time, though, we've got a lot of work still to do here. Like our MEI score for Columbus, Georgia, it stands at a 59, I believe, maybe a 61, somewhere in there. When I first took the office of liaison, we worked together. We had a 21. Now, what the MEI is from HRC. It measures what the city does to protect its LGBTQ citizens, get a non-discrimination ordinance, which we still have not passed, but 13 other cities in Georgia have, but yet we can't pass one, nor could make it. And that's because the leadership of Charmaine Crabb, she didn't want it to be passed. She tried to pass the buck type thing, saying, "Oh, the state can do it," and then had a big campaign about it, you know, and then got all these religious leaders in on it. I mean, we're just asking for non-discrimination. It's across the board. It covers everybody, women, LGBT, Asian, it doesn't matter what you are, you're covered under that cause. Which, and I don't think they liked the way it was done, because if you found the discrimination, you'd have to go to this judge and all this other stuff. You got to have a penalty. You just can't have you know, they said we have a policy. Policy is not law. You know, it can be easily overlooked. It can be easily broken. Well, law stands up in court. So, I mean, that's something we need to get done. We're still trying to get that done. And that's what we're doing this year, along with fighting all this mess that we're having to deal with as well.
Okay. Well, I didn't know that you guys did all that. That's a lot of stuff. And I'm sure it's very appreciated.
Honestly, I think people appreciate the drag shows and everything else that we put on. But as far as the advocacy, they don't come out for it. They don't show up. And you know, I talked to a counselor the other day, one of the people that we're working with on the support group. And he told me, he said, Jeremy, he said, a lot of it is they're overwhelmed. Everything has happened so rapidly the last 5 years. COVID, Trump, you know, they just nightmarish things. And, you know, people, apathy is abundant, no empathy. And they're not learning it in schools. They're not learning it at home because, you know, there's nobody there at home whenever they come home, because everybody's having to work to put food on the table and struggling left and right to get these things done. So they've got so much on their plates right now. I have to be sympathetic, but at the same time, though, I have to let them know, hey, you can't just sit back and let them take away your rights. That's exactly what they were counting on. They know you're tired. They know you're worn out. You've done fall all the way to marriage equality, but now we're about to lose it all. You've got to stand up. You've got to fight. You've got to get out there. You've got to be vocal. I mean, I can't do it all. I mean, I'll get out there and yell as loud as I can, but we need more. We do better in numbers. I mean, every time there's an interview or something, who do they call? Me. I would love for them to call somebody else up for an interview on WTVM or whatever, so they can be a voice for the community as well. You know, I
Mhm.
get heat over there. I'm so sick of seeing you on TV. I said, believe me, I'm tired of having to do the interviews. I wish somebody was like transgender. I mean, the shame that they still live with, the fear that they live with about being outed still, and it's 2023. It's ridiculous that they have to live like that. And, you know, our churches don't make it any easier for them. All they do is preach hell, fire, damnation, condemnation, and abomination, and everything else in between, and tell them that's what they are. Tell them that they're demons. I mean, I've heard all these things over the years, and people have come to me and told me what the preachers have said. And I think it's just downright ridiculous. First of all, I mean, I'm a Christian. And I know, I mean, Jesus never told us to do all that. He told us to love one another and don't judge each other. I mean, those are
Yeah.
easy fundamentals that we can all work together and truly achieve more. But we can't get past that because we always feel like we got to be better than somebody else. I think that's what it all boils down to, you know, making yourself feel better about, you know, because you're this or they're that. Whenever we put that barrier out of the way, I think humanity will actually advance for a change.
Yeah, I feel like the church has definitely failed this community for sure.
Well, not only that, but they push people away from God. And that's one of the things I try to do is get people back to God because I tell my people all the time, your spirit, it doesn't say in the Bible anywhere that you have to go to church. It says you have to, you know, you praise your spirituality, how you do your faith and everything else. That's between you and your higher power. It doesn't have to have anybody else included in it. I said, you know, that's where I think we've got off the wrong wagon. And then I'm tired of them having a tax free, you know, they're no tax for the church because they are political. They are doing all these things that change mindsets and create laws in a country that's supposed to be separation of church and state. And they end up creating laws that are harmful to people. Like, what is that about? You think if we don't say it, they'll disappear? I mean, this whole hate thing that they're doing, it's a war of hate. And it basically that's what it boils down to. They're
Mhm.
angry. They don't like us. I mean, and I feel like we're banning books. Look at history. What are we repeating? Nazi Hitler Germany didn't like a group of people, so he tried to make laws against them and everything else. What's next? Going to put us in camps? I mean, we've really got to wake up and see what's truly going on out there in the world. Because if we continue to do it blindly, we're going to lose our rights, and we could turn into a totalitarianism or dictatorship. You know, and we don't want that. You know, we want to continue to be a democracy. I tell people all the time, I say, I don't know if I will continue to live in here in this country. I mean, my friends are moving to Costa Rica just because of all this mess. They adopt a child. They were settled, adopting a child, a brother and a sister. But then all this stuff came out with Trump and everything else keeps building and building and building. So I don't want to do it because they might take their child away from us. So they're not even going to try. They're just going to go to Costa Rica and try to live peacefully. And that's sad that we have to leave America to feel safe.
It is. Dang. Um, how are members of the population made aware of the available sources that you have?
Any which way we can. Social media. 211, I believe, has us listed on there as well. That's the United Way thing. We're in the street beat, I believe. That's for homeless people and stuff like that. I would love to have more PSAs out there and stuff like that. If we could just get more companies to do it. They used to work with us a lot more, but funding or whatever it is, you know, things tightened up and they just don't let us do as much as we used to anymore. But we still need that facet. We've got the mayor's office that allow, you know, that updates people. The Mayor's Committee for Unity, Diversity, and Prosperity lets people know about us. Churches, not churches, some churches do, yes. There are a few that are LGBT confirming or affirming, like New Covenant Church of Columbus, Forgiving Heart Church of Columbus, Georgia, and New Hope Presbyterian. Those are three, and excuse me, St. Thomas is another one as well. They're very welcoming. They've been very welcome to all of our people out there, you know, and but those are places that you can find information as well. So it's just basically talking to somebody, Googling us, Googling Columbus, Georgia Pride or Colgay Pride, you know, That's where it finally comes up. Or a lot of times we get tied in with the HIV testing because we provide that as well.
Okay. What do you think the greatest need is for your agency and for the population?
A community center. I mean, I wouldn't say that years ago, but today I believe it is necessary. It would give people a safe haven, keep them from having to go to a lot of places that might be intolerant. Youth need it. I'm so tired of every time we bring up youth, they think we're pedophiles.
Mm,
One's out doing nasty things to children. I mean, it's y'all's minds that go there, not mine. We're just trying to teach kids about, we're dragging story time. We're teaching about diversity, acceptance, that everybody might be look different, but we can treat each other the same. Things that should be being taught at home, but they're not. That's why bullying continues to rise. That's why violence in schools continues. I mean, kids aren't born with hate; they learn it, and it comes from a lot. And probably 70% of it will come from home. The others, what they'll see from other people when they go to school, or the cliques that they get into, the groups or whatever, trying to be cool. But yeah, we do need a community center. We need some. I mean, I've tried to talk to some people here in Columbus. Like there's that old school right over there behind the safe house on off of Hamilton Road. I mean, it's a great tax write-off if you want to donate it. I mean, we're our 501c3. It'd be great for your taxes, but nobody wants to donate that to us. Nobody wants to donate us a facility that we can utilize and truly make a difference in the city. I mean, because when we have actual headquarters and a location, then you can really build outward. Everybody has the place to go. They know where to go, where it's always going to be, who's going to be there. And it's not like sporadic because we're here one week, we're there one week, we're here and there. We need consistency, education and consistency and leadership.
Okay. What do you think the most significant challenge is for this population that you serve and some steps that are taken to address the challenges?
Besides the laws that are being passed, or that's my main thing right now. I mean, I'm scared for them for a lot of that because what they need to do is get out and be vocal. Like I said, we're already doing steps like we're already planning the thing. We got to go to the Capitol and fight. What is it? Senate Bill 80 or something like that. And there's a House Bill 180. Two bills. One is about against transgender for taking the puberty blockers and things like that they need. I don't understand transgender. I mean, I'm not transgender. That's why I tell people all the time. They keep asking me, why do they feel this way? I don't know why they feel this way. I'm gay. It's like, but I try to help them understand that everybody's unique. And, if you want to know, talk to them. They're not making this stuff up. Now, I don't think anybody out there in their right mind wants to be ostracized from community or be put down by people or be the outcast. That's not what I don't think people wake up and say, "Oh, I want to be the black sheep today." No, we all want them. We all strive for unity and companionship and everything else. But we have a choice. There is one choice when it comes to that, being who God made you to be. And that's the thing I'm trying to get across to people. I'm trying to get across to leadership. When they finally realize that it's not a light switch we can turn off and on, that it's actually part of who we are, maybe they might can understand that there's not factors that are influencing us. The only thing they do is influence us to or nourish us to be stronger, be more independent, be more brave about who we are. I mean, you don't. This whole mentality, what they're doing is trying to push people away from education, knowing themselves, so they end up being lost, confused on all the things that they claim we already are. One reason we'll become those things is because we don't have resources. We don't have that information that we needed to know, hey, you could have blocked the puberty. You wouldn't have to get the hair growing out on your face and everything else if you were trying to become a woman. I mean, or vice versa. I mean, the things that they need are vital to their self-preservation and I don't know, to the whole, what do you call the word? Their being. I mean, because until they can be comfortable in their own skin, they're going to have many problems. And I'll tell you now, and we've had to work with so many families out there because they still kicking that kids out left and right. That's really
Yeah.
our basic thing. I mean, I was kicked out when I was 16, and I know what I had to do to survive, and I don't wish that on anybody. The things I could tell people, I mean, that would just make people cringe, but you have no choice. It's either that or die or whatever. And I didn't want to die. So you do what you got to do. Make the money to get here, stay there, or whatever. And
Yeah.
it's not pleasing at all. I mean, the things that you have to do because you find people that you think are your friends until they tell you what they want or you can get out. It's like, I don't want to go out. It's cold. It'd be so guess you got to give in. They shouldn't ever have to be put in that position. One of the things that I want to do that I'm trying to get with Teddy Reese on the phone is, and I talked to Walker Garrett about, I want to create a law. And, we keep making all these anti-gay laws. Why don't we do something for the kids to protect them? Because when you kick your kid out, that is the same as abuse. That is the same as neglect. And you're putting a child in harm's way because of your religious beliefs, even though nowhere in the Bible says to turn your back on your child because they're gay. This is all from the churches again. And, even Jehovah's Witnesses, they won't let you live with that. They condemn their people that live with gay children or let them stay with them or whatever, because that means they're accepting it. I mean, it's ridiculous. Who says turn your back on your children? I mean, I remember parents always say you can be anything you want except for gay. It's like it's tough. It really is. But I want a law out there that prohibits parents from now. If they wanted them to leave their home because of the religious beliefs, we'll still honor that. But you have to find them a loving home to go to, or find them a place that they can go to. You can't just put them out in the streets. That's a child endangerment, and I think it should be held by felony. That will stop a lot of this because we've got so many youth running around right now that have no place to go. And I don't know where to go to sign in or anything, just wondering. It's sad. It really is. I mean, I guess I'm concerned about our trans and I'm concerned about our youth. Because I think that's the future right there. We've got to protect these kids and they're trying to turn it back into old America. And I don't want to go backwards. We want to go forwards. I mean, I thought that's what we were doing until 5 years ago and 6 years ago, and then everything just went to hell.
Man, I'm sorry you had to go through that.
It makes me who I am today. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if I change it, well, maybe I try to not do a couple things I did, but I wouldn't be the same man I am today doing what I'm doing because it took me going through that to realize what I need to do for other people to help them out.
Yeah, like that saying, there's purpose in your pain. It
Exactly.
sucks though.
It does. It does. You endure and you get thick skinned and everything else. I mean, I've dealt with so much because I've been living with AIDS for 20 years next month.
Wow.
I was told when I first found out that I had 6 months to live. The doctor
Oh
just
my.
didn't have any information. He really didn't know what he was talking about. I mean, yeah, my CD4 was low, but he didn't even try to put me on medication or nothing. He just told me to be comfortable. I was like, but I didn't want to do that. I was like, I'm 29 years old. I'm not going to die. I said, it's got to be something I can do. Because I mean, I saw where other people were living. And I did. And we had nothing here, no support groups, no nothing. So that's why I went to this conference in Florida, the Positive Living Conference. Was about 400 other people living with HIV. Finally, people that I have AIDS or I have HIV freely, no hindrance about it. And I'm thankful to Butch McKay because he gave me the tools to come back home and create what all I've done. I mean, we created the support groups, we created the education, we got people talking, we got mayors to get tested, promote awareness, all that stuff. I mean, it's been a long journey, but it has definitely been rewarding as far as seeing what's changed. But still, you got people out there in the mindset they don't want to change. Gay, same with AIDS. And the truth is, it has not affected them yet. It's either affected or infected. That's the only way they care about something. And if otherwise they just shrug it off like it's nothing.
Yeah. I know you kind of touched on this, but the question is asked like, what is the importance of social justice within your organization? Um, yeah,
Social justice.
yeah.
Well, one, we still have laws like HIV laws that put people in jail for transmitting if they didn't know they had it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a horrible thing to give somebody. Yes, absolutely. But is it really a felony worth? I mean, people give people STDs all the time, and that's exactly what HIV is, even though it's uncurable at this time. We just there's no. They have a lot of old laws on the books. We still have sodomy laws on the books. We've got to change a lot of that. We've got to do the work to get that change. I mean, we're going up to Justice Day up in the Capitol soon too. I can't remember the date of it, but we got to go up there and fight for the people that are, behind bars for this, or we got to fight for people that in the small towns where they got arrested or something because they were gay or they were out doing whatever. I mean, they still have a lot of these outdated laws that are affecting our brothers and sisters.
Mm-hmm.
We still got to do. I mean, we need to hold people accountable though. What they're doing out here, I just can't understand how people get away with it. Like the Proud Boys, they need to be labeled a terrorist organization. They already are in Australia. They already are in Canada. Why the hell aren't they in here? I mean,
Who are they again?
Proud Boys, the
Proud?
Proud Boys, yeah. They're a
Hmm.
white militia. They were also part of the January 6th insurrection that took place on the Capitol. In fact, the leader of them just pled guilty to seditious acts against the government. They come out, they mask themselves, cowardly, and wear these little polos and everything else, and march around with their guns, and intimidate and scream. They come out there to tell us that we're grooming children. Uh,
Hmm.
I'm like, while they're sitting there terrorizing and giving these kids nightmares because some masked bully came up to the thing and threatening everybody and screaming at everybody and causing chaos.
Hmm.
I don't care what they do, but we're the problem. I mean, stuff like that needs to be dealt with and put on the books to stop that from happening. They can't even that way. They won't want to get off the plane or get out the bus or wherever they drive to get here. They'll know if you do this, you're going to jail. Period. And
Yeah.
Homeland Security would have a lot more free reign to get them as well. Them and there's several other ones that were part of it as well. We have a lot of hate groups that are out there. Well, the KKK, they're still around. We've got a lot of
Hmm.
out there that want to see us die or that want to see us go back to the closet and shut up and never say a word again. And that's what they're trying to do with legislation, and it's working through the churches. It's working all the way to DeSantis. He's the golden boy of all of it, and quite a possible presidential candidate. I mean, that's well liked. I mean, that's scary as hell too. Um,
Hmm.
I don't know what we're going to face over the next 2 years because I'm scared. I'm not going to
Yeah.
lie. There's a lot of people that are fearful, and
Hmm.
we've got to get through these 2 years to make some. Because we're not going to be able to do anything right now because we got a Republican Congress, we got Republican people in the House, the state here in Georgia. They continue to run things. People have got to change their mindsets and get on. I mean, they tell us about this woke movement. They need to wake up. If you want to stay blinded by everything and think that we're just out here, now I give them a little credit for some things. A lot of it is just bitching and whining because they don't want to do anything but bitch and whine. You've got to do more than just talk about it. You've got to get out there and make action happen. You got to go talk to your law. You got to talk to your senators. You got to talk to everybody across the board. And while at the same time generating support from others and building a united coalition against it. That's how we did marriage equality. That's how we made that happen because we had so much support in this country. What the hell happened? You know, and it's
Hmm.
became complacent. That people got their comfort zone. Oh, it's all great. I've said the day when we had marriage equality come off, the battle is far from over because they will they will find another angle to attack us. It's always going to be something, just like
Hmm.
it has been for African Americans and white relations, and and Jews and other people. I mean, this anti-Semitic. It's just why do we hate so much? I just don't understand it. I mean, what gets in your system to make you want to hate somebody that bad? It's
Right.
but a lot of times I find out it's because they have a little bit of their own self hate because they feel that.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that with a lot of politicians too.
Hmm. It's sad. I don't want to take too much of your time. Just so that was the organization portion, and then there's two questions about, if you don't mind, if it's more of an individual type interview, just from you personally, like a testimony. Um, if you want to. It just says share some of your background and kind of your story.
Okay, I think I did kind of. It's like
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was kicked out at 16. I mean, because I had my mom and dad kept saying, "Are you sure you're not gay? Are you sure you're not gay?" And I knew to say no. I always knew to say no, I'm not gay, because I heard what they said. They're all fucking queers, and I hated the word queer. Now we utilize it. Now it's like the N word for other people. I'm like, why do we bring back these hateful words? But
Yeah.
use it because it's their word. No, it's not my word. I never liked the damn word. I mean, I'd rather be called a fag than a queer any day. But at the same time, though, I mean, my grandfather, how they all turned on me when I just had enough of it. I said, "Yes, I'm gay. Yes, I'm gay," and get the hell out of me.
Mm,
You're not
mm,
going to. You have a choice. You can either go stop being this way, give up this sinful way, or get the hell out. And
mm,
at that point, I knew that I couldn't give up who I was. I believe me, I had dealt with it so many times in my head and everything else. Why do I feel this way? I prayed about it. I went to, I was very heavily in church, but I still felt those ways. And so did a lot of other people. I just didn't tell everybody about it. But, and I got kicked out the streets, everything else, and how to make it. I got through high school. With help from friends. I get to stay here a little bit, there a little bit, here a little bit, until it's time to go. You can't stay here forever. It was always the big word.
mm,
Which I understood, I'm not their kid. I mean, they were very nice to let me stay as long as they did. But I made it. And then also I realized also what I had to do to survive. Um, Prostitution, um, even doing a little bit of crime, petty crimes and stuff like that, just to eat.
mm,
Hard. It really was. And then you also become prey. People look for people like that. Oh, I'll help you. Let me do this for you. I got
mm,
in with this one person that had 6 other people there who I became lifelong friends with. They were all gay or transgender or what have you. And it's people he moved in one at a time and had sex with and made them have sex with him and everything else. Still did it throughout the whole thing.
mm.
And I had to tolerate that for about 2 years.
Oh,
But I had a roof over my head. I was fed. But and we supported each other. The group did. I still remember most of them passed away from AIDS.
mm,
Else I've had to deal with. So I've dealt with so many funerals and losses, and I think almost everybody from my generation is gone from HIV. And I also remember how people treated people within the gay community that were gay, the people that had HIV, like a leper, or they used it as ammo against them. It's all about who they were going to pick up that night. If you were talking to somebody, they were going to go over there and tell them all your business, make sure they knew. Uh,
mm,
Still trying to educate people today from what it was then to what it is now. That undetectable equals untransmittable. Trying to get them to understand that mentality. That if you're undetectable, you cannot pass it even without condoms. Um, they still don't believe me. It's like it's science. But at the same time, though, um, I dealt with all that. I didn't have HIV at the time. I mean, I just saw what they did to other people. I hated it. I kissed this one guy, Joey, and I was mothballed at the club that time. I got in at 18. The guy that ran it, Dave Forker. I miss him. He passed away not too long ago, and he gave me my life back a little bit. I mean, because I was at my ropes end because I was so tired of nowhere to turn, nobody to go to, nowhere I could be me. And then I found Dave. I got somebody told me, "Why don't you go down and found Suyaka?" I said, I'm 17 years old. He said, "I'll make."
mm,
He made me an ID and everything else, and Dave knew I wasn't of age, but he let me in. He always told
wow.
me, Cops are gonna be out tonight. You might want to stay away. But if it wasn't for him, I probably would have killed myself because
Wow.
I was so tired of life. I mean, I wanted to get my main goal was to get into the Navy. I had a 93 on my ASVAB, and I was geared up and ready to go once I finally got out of high school. And then I found out you can't go. I'm legally blind in my left eye, so that made me a liability. And I remember my recruiter, he made me go back 3 or 4 times to go get, you can do it. You just push. I said, man, you don't understand. I cannot read. I cannot visualize out of that left eye. And I have to be able to do that to pass this test. I said, no, I'm not going to cheat. I said, that could cause a lot of problems for me in the future. You just don't want it, do you? I was like, man, they're really rough on people. They really are. I was like,
Wow.
kind of pissed me off in a long way. I said, I went back 3 times for a waiver. They weren't going to give it to me. And at the fourth, I said, I'm not going back there. I said, they don't want it unless things change or whatever. But so that kind of really dampened my life a lot right there because that was my plan to get to Georgia, to go to the Navy, get the hell out of here and be all I could be. That didn't happen. So I was stuck here. So I got into management, which I was good at it anyway. I mean, I was always good with numbers and everything. I did management for several places here. Carmike Cinemas was one of them. Takala, Taco Bell, Crystal River Seafood. Let's see, I was shift leader. I was always a management type person and everything. And Denny's, when it was still across from the Chickasaw, well, Chickasaw and all that was still there out there. We had the third shift. I loved it. I can be myself there too. I hated the morning shift though. That's all old but I see. After that, then I kind of moved to Atlanta for 2 years. I met somebody down here. That was a big part of my life too. When you're kicked out of a lot of things, you don't have a lot of resolutions that you face in your life. Loving yourself is one of them. Everybody else hates you. Why can I love myself? And you always try to find that person that's going to complete you when you don't realize that. And I tell this to people all the time, take time for you, know you, love you. Once you can do that, then you can carry a relationship with other people. If not, you're gonna ask, what do you want to do now? I don't know, whatever you want to do. Or you don't have any thought process. You don't know yourself enough to even carry on a conversation with them. All you can think about is, I need this person. When you didn't. I mean, I was very codependent for years, and I stayed in 2 abusive relationships because of it. First one, I mean, when he first screamed at me and yelled at me and hit me, I was like, but I'm a guy. It's supposed to be okay, right? Because we're fine. No, it's not. Domestic violence is the same with men as it is with women and everybody else in between. And you need to get out of it. Don't stay in it. I stayed in it for too long for both places. I stayed in it for 5 years with one guy, off and on. We break up, but then I get all sad and depressed because I can't do nothing else. I had to have him back in my life. That's the only way I could live. And all the things you go through. I mean, it's a lot of mental health was needed. Mental care was needed. And then I finally figured it out. Honestly, about when I turned, I was with my 10-year last partner. We married too, but he got on drugs very bad. I mean, I've never seen meth take nobody like that before in my life. But I mean, I'd wake up and he'd be out in the shed for 3 days smoking his pipe. I kept trying to play with him, stop everything else, but he was going to do what he wanted to do, and that was all there was to it. And it became violent and everything else. Broke 3 of my ribs, and that was it for me. I mean, when somebody told me, when you're done, you'll know it.
Yeah.
And I finally realized that with the first guy that I was with, and then with him, and I filed for divorce. He begged me, cried, but we cried together. I mean, I still love him today, but I couldn't deal with it no more. I dealt with years of verbal abuse, and then the breaking my stuff and everything else because you love it more than me. It's like, but people are, they got mental illness themselves. He was bipolar, paranoid, schizophrenic. Should never done meth in the first place. I kept telling him that, but whatever. I tell him, stick to the weed. Stick to the weed. It's like you don't get weed, but you need to legalize. But that's another check on the thing we want to get done. But getting that to this point in today. Well, let me get back. When I found out I had 6 months to live, I kind of freaked out. I was like, "Oh my God, I'm about to die."
Yeah.
Get in politics and everything else, so I decided to run for office real quick, see if just if I could do it. And it was 2000, was it 2000? Yeah, 2000, when I ran against Red McDaniel for the first time. And he whooped my butt. Uh, I got like 27% of the vote. He got like whatever. And then I ran against him again in 2012, and I got 48% of the vote. I came close, but people, he got mad at me because I ran against him. I didn't want to talk to me anymore. I was like, why do y'all get so moody about people running against you? I don't hate you. I love you, man. I said, but give the people an option, one, and two, you need to go. You've been there for 36 years. He died the next year. I mean, and I didn't even get appointed to it because I had the second most votes, but they voted somebody else that he put into place because he was so mad at me. And then I ran again for District 7. And see, because I wasn't going to run against an incumbent. You can't win against incumbents in Columbus, Georgia. That's why the nonpartisan thing's set up the way it is. We really need to go to a November elections for our leadership, our local leadership. Because you're only getting 17 to maybe 20% of the vote out during the midterm for that. That's ridiculous. You're not going to make a change here in Columbus until you change the voting habits. But anyway, she got back in the race. Mimi did. She said, "Oh, I'm decided I'm going to run again." I tried to spend $2,000, had signs up and everything else. All this money we spent out, I knew it was over when she told me that because people love Mimi. So she won. And that was really the last time I run for office. But because I want to be one of these people that can get up there and help make laws and change mindsets. I don't want to be lobbied. I don't want to be part of the problem, but I do want to do something to serve my country. I tried to do it before in the Navy. I want to do it this way. I mean, I am serving my country, but I'm only really concerned with my community. I mean, I would love to run for governor one day or something like that because I enjoy making people's lives better. That's what I'm doing with my agency for the past 15 years. We created all these new programs and everything else that we never had before. And, I was talking to Teresa Alameen the other day. She's real sick. She's got COVID. She's the director of SARN, Southern Anti-Racism Network here in Columbus. And she's real sick. And she said, nobody checked on me, Jeremy, when I'm sick. Nobody cared. I've been doing all this stuff for people all left and right, making contributions, doing all this. And they didn't even want to check on me when I'm sick. I said, I know how you feel. I mean, you're a blemish to a lot of people because they don't like seeing you come because they know you're going to bitch about something. And you might make other people change their mind to vote against what they want. And I'm not there to, do any of that. I'm just trying to make laws better for people, equal. And that's what we have to do. We need more people. We need more better people to run for office. We need more LGBT people running for office. Well, look at this last election. But then again, look what's happened afterwards. That one lady that was open and lesbian senator or representative was attacked in her own home. I mean, Pelosi's husband. I mean, look at the hate that is built from January 6th. I mean, it's escalating and getting worse and worse. Now it's pouring into our legislation about laws we have. We really need to make some changes soon, or it might be a time when we can't turn back. I don't want to see this country that I love so much become another, dictatorship or whatever you want to call it, autocratic system. Because I tell you, one of our biggest problems is the Republican Democratic Party. I mean, both of them. And I just want. We've got to make some real changes in this country. I'm sad to say it's probably going to take another war or some kind of big disaster, probably a World War III type thing, before we actually pick up the pieces and rebuild for real. Right now, we're just putting Band-Aids over stuff and doing the same old thing over and over and over again. We're not making no change. We're not changing people's lives. We're not making any. We are in electronics and technology, sure, but we're not doing it with life. We're not doing it. I guess that's just too much of a problem. So we've got to do something. Plus, we're overpopulating the hell out of this place too. We need to expand and we need to think beyond. I've always been space things. I love any Star Trek shows because it shows what we can do. I mean, that's what we can do, like with the technology that they had back then that we're actually seeing today in real life. I mean, I look forward to those days. I probably won't make it to that, but at the same time, though, I can dream. And I think the biggest thing I tell people out there: never stop dreaming. about, a better tomorrow or what you want to be or anything like that, because nobody's future set. We all make it what we do each and every day to get there. So, I'm going to keep doing what I want to do, and hopefully one day maybe I'll get to go to space or something like that, whatever. But, because there's so much more out there than what there is right here. And like I said, people try to get away from America. So it's like, it's getting rough out there. But I've lived for 48 years. I lived 2 years in New York. I think that opened my eyes a lot too. Those 2 years in New York, from 18 to 20, or excuse me, 17 to 17 to 19. That was a big eye opener for me, because it showed me what the world really was, how it can be, or how I brought back the attitude. I don't give a shit. I didn't let things bother me as much, because don't let the little stuff bother you in life. It's like I tell people, pick and choose your battles.
Yeah.
Like we had a game night. We work with Giovanni's here locally. We did a Harry Potter trivia. I got so much hate mail because J.K. Rowling is anti-trans. It never occurred to me anything like that. Because I feel their pain. But where were you at when we had a non-discrimination ordinance readings? Where were you at fighting all these other things? You want to gripe and bitch about a trivia night that doesn't benefit her anyway, because kids like the show. Adults like the show. They don't get into all that crap. She's entitled to believe what she wants to. She's, that's the way it is. But does she still write good books? Does she still make people laugh? Does she still make people wonder and imagine? Yes. I said, I can't hate her for that. I said, we can't hate people because they feel a certain way. We should be trying to make them feel a different way, not just boycotting and all this other stuff and everything else. That's what I'm talking about. They want to bitch and bitch and bitch, but don't want to do the work. It's got to change. We really have to change about that, so we can actually do better. And I just told myself, we're going to continue going with it. I said, y'all get mad all you want to, but this is our partnership with another place. And the person that was putting it on is the mother of a transgender child. So, so I kept trying to explain to her, this is what she's doing for her trans kid, Emma, David, which is also another issue too we're having to face right here. The father is taking the kid away from her, claiming sexual abuse and all this other stuff that he made up, along with her sister, to remove the kid because they don't like him dressing in women's clothes. David is unique. He really is. He's also our junior mixed Columbus, Georgia Pride. He gets up there and you can see a true love of a child when he just goes down there and picks up a guy, picks any kid out there and gets him up there and dance with him. Black kid on top of that. He's white and black. He didn't see the color. He didn't see none of that. He just sees another kid down there wanting to play. And that's what that innocence I wish we could get back to, and let go of the hate, see each other as a human, not black, white, gay, straight. Just look at it as a fellow human. If we can ever get to that point, I think we'll be a lot better off.
Mm-hmm. Have you since been able to reconcile with your family at all?
It took a while. It really did. My mom, she passed away when I was 36. She died on an operating table from my outpatient. But she had called me so many nights. I remember. My mom, I lived in a very abusive childhood. My mom was very abusive because she was abused. We're all products of our environment. So how we change differently or keep repeating the history. I used to dread it when my dad would leave. When he would go to National Guard for 2 weeks or whatever. I hated those times because I just knew it was going to be painful. Just mean. My mom was mean. I think she had a lot of postpartum depression. She gained a lot of weight when she had me, but she never got rid of it ever afterwards. So she blamed me for that. So it's like, and plus, I did stupid shit. I always got in trouble for stupid stuff. I wouldn't sit still, because but they had me on Ritalin too at that age. I had to go to the office every day, go get my medicine. When they used to say, "Oh, go get your crazy pill," that stuff right there. I didn't need to be on Ritalin. In fact, I don't believe in unless they're like really wild or something. I don't believe in hindering children's imagination or energy. I believe that I'm sorry the teacher doesn't captivate you. That's not your fault. That's theirs. Because teachers that did captivate me, I excelled with.
Mm-hmm.
It said, open your books and read, blah, 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 blah. I couldn't stand that, man. It was the most boring thing in the world. I'd go to sleep. But I
Mm-hmm.
ranked passed and everything. And if I wasn't trying to still pass, you know, it was just like my childhood was rough. It really was. But I remember she would call me all the time. I'm so sorry I did this. She'd name something she did to me as a kid. I said, Mama, when are you going to stop calling me? I said, I'm done forgiving you for all this. I said, you did the best you could because you did. I saw what she did for my brother. I resented my brother because of it, because he got the gold life and I had I had the chores. I couldn't go to bed until all the washes, the clothes were done. But I thank my mom for this. She taught me how to do everything. I knew how to turn on a washer and dryer. I knew how
Mm-hmm.
to wash the dishes and everything else. My mom died. My dad didn't even know how to turn on the washer. We had to go there and help him and everything else. And that made me realize there. I've seen this with so many other people too. I watched how they wash clothes and stuff. Like, good Lord, it's like, you know, just put everything in there. Separate my stuff and everything else. My buddy always gets, oh, you're racist. You segregate your whites. It's like, no, it's, and like I said, everything I've been through has made me who I am today. And I thanked her for a lot of it. I said, you know, except for all the crazy beatings and everything else, I said, you helped make me a better man because I know how to do these things. I know what to do. I know how to look upon things differently than other people would. And you made me be a better man because my dad would have raised me. I wouldn't have done any of that mess. He would have said, oh, that's a woman's job, blah, 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 blah. And he didn't want mom to work or none of that stuff. But, you know, he's changed a lot too. He's grown. He doesn't think it's a choice anymore. He thinks it's science. He still thinks it's a sin. But I saw, you know, they can go for that one scripture where everything you see out here can be yours. And I've had preachers turn me away, like Winbrook Baptist. I went there to go be closer to my father and go to church with him every Sunday. He told me I couldn't be a member, but I could come visit anytime. I haven't been back. I was like, you know, I just don't understand how you make the judgment of who can go to your church. You know, it's craziness. It really is. And they don't realize they're hurting their people's faith all over. They're making people turn away from God completely. And I mean, that's the dangerous part right there. I mean, they don't realize the dangers of what they're doing, or they're
Yeah.
here, one of the two. But they'll have to answer for it one day.
Mm-hmm. This is the last one. I know you mentioned that New York was a turning point. Was there any other like cultural event or anything that made a big difference for you?
9/11 did. When I saw what took place here, it emboldened me to want to do more for my community, want to get involved with more politics and stuff, because that type of thing. I mean, what are we doing wrong that people want to hate us so much? And you find out later on. I mean, we're always putting our business, putting our nose in everybody's business, telling them how to live their lives, and then just leave. Plus Atlanta too. I saw the gay community when I went to Houston. That was a turning point for me because I saw a gay district, Montrose, and I was like, "This is so cool." I wanted to live there, and I stayed there for 2 weeks with my buddy. Well, we went down there to go visit his mom and all this other stuff, and for New Year's and all that, which is cool. But I got tired of it quick. It's like that's what I learned about roundabouts. I've served on the transportation chair for 6 years. I think I was for Columbus, Georgia. So I know all the transportation stuff. Everybody's always asked why they got roundabouts. It's because they're economically better. It keeps traffic moving. It's green space. It's like no electricity having to be used. And they had the hardest time trying to get those. I remember all the people that ran right through the middle. It's like,
Yeah.
but I saw them over in Houston when they were utilized there, a lot bigger. But you know, I brought that information back here. We started talking about it. We implemented a lot of it. Jim Pound was the biggest advocate for that, but I think that and all the work that I've done in community service wise, I think that's just when you think you know everything and you get out there and you hear stories that are just shock you to the core of things that
Yeah.
happen, you know, it's like you realize the work is still far from done. And you know, sometimes I think about why am I doing this? You know, the people don't care, the people don't appreciate it. You know, I mean, there's a lot of people that hate me because I split. I made a division in Columbus, Georgia. So all I did was create an organization that gave people what they asked for.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to open public Broadway Pride. Yeah, I worked with the agency that was here. They didn't want to do it. They were too scared to do it. They said, "No, we're safer down here. No, we don't want to put people at risk. No, we don't want." You let fear dictate everything.
Mm-hmm.
Fearful person anymore. Like I said, that's one thing that really helped me with New York because how openly they were and how they were in Atlanta. We can be that here too. We can do all these things. We just have to put one foot in front of the other and have a little faith and a little courage and make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
People need to come out of them closets. They need to be who they are. I tell my motto to everyone: always be you. If you can do that, you'll live a happy life. It may be rough, it may be tough, but you'll live a truly meaningful and happy life. Because when you hide a little piece of yourself here and there to appease everybody else, who are you living for?
Mm-hmm.
I tell people all the time, there's 3 F's. They don't feed you, they don't finance you, they don't, yeah. What do you care what they want? What do you care what they believe? Does it affect you in any way? Then go on with your life. Be you. I said, you quit worrying about what everybody else thinks. I mean, unless they're doing one of those 3 things, you don't care. You don't have to care. I mean, just live your life to the fullest and grasp the truth. I mean, the whole thing with the religion is that's the biggest hurdle people have to get by. They all think they're going to hell. I know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Jesus loves us all. I mean, I was saved, I was baptized, and I try to live my life according to what he taught us. I mean, I try to heal the sick if I can. It's lift each other up. And I've been crucified many times by these people out here. My own people. That's what kills me. They're like, oh, they don't like me. Some of them don't. I mean, but I realized why it was. I mean, it took me a while to realize what it was. They hate the fact that I can be who I am and have AIDS. They always bring that up. You're just age-ridden, blah, blah, blah up there. You don't have no business up there. Then get up here and do it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to do it. And there's a lot of jealousy, a lot of, whatever. I mean, it's nothing glamorous, baby. I mean, it's work. That's something they don't want to do. They want to go home and escape from the world, everything else, and that's what they do. We need more LGBT activism. We need more LGBT volunteers. We need more LGBT period out there on the streets, wherever, making a difference. I want Columbus to have a little LGBT section, where it's their little Nirvana or whatever that can generate buildings. I've been talking to City Councilor Joanne Kogel about revamping the South Lumpkin Road area. You got all these shops out there and everything else, but there's so much crime.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to see us renovate and rejuvenate that area. We can do it, but it's going to take a lot of work, as usual, and it's going to take working with the community around it as well. We want people to be able to move to this place, stuff like that. But right now, Columbus is undergoing a crime, but everybody else is too. We all bitch about it, but it happens everywhere, and we just got a lot of doing senseless killings.
Yeah.
Reason. I mean, it's heartbreaking. It really is, and that. My dad's always said, "It's the end of days, Jeremy. It's the end of days." I hope not. I really do. It's just another phase that everybody's going through. You're getting past whatever this new hurdle is, but we've got to get past the black-white issue. We got to get past women's rights. Letting them, they are equal pay for work. They just can't get past that either. It's like they've always got, like I said, always got to feel better than somebody. And yes, white privilege. I mean, it gets mad at me when I say that, but it's the truth. They'll never understand the plight the people that say, well, I don't understand. They don't understand Black Lives Matter for a reason, because you've never been pulled over for a dirty tag. You've never been felt like, whenever a cop walks in there singling you out. I've seen all these things firsthand. I've seen how they treat other people. I've seen how they do me and walk over to somebody else and treat them totally different. I mean, it is still real today. The prejudice, discrimination still exists. But like I said, we have a lot of work to do.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to do all this for me.
Absolutely. I hope it didn't take up too much of your time, but
You're good.
it's like, but I'm gonna send you a video of this once it uploads and everything else, and I'll what's your email address? Well, I'll tell you what, I think I can do it to your phone. Yeah, I can do it to your phone. I'll put it online and send it to you the link. Okay.
Okay. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you so much for the interview. You have a great day.
Thank you.